This video explores how visionary leaders across the United States are turning mandates into momentum and shaping the future of water management. As water industry leaders across the United States adapt to evolving regulations, from PFAS monitoring to lead and copper rule improvements, a new way of thinking is emerging. Today's leaders aren't just experts in water, they also need to be experts in collaboration and communication. They anticipate change, influence policy, and guide stakeholders through complexity. Compliance is no longer a checklist, it is a dynamic process shaped by foresight, influence, and data driven strategy. In this evolving landscape, leadership is earned through trust and credibility. Whether steering nutrient permits in the Pacific Northwest, deploying innovative water solutions in Texas, or preventing CSOs in Washington, D.C., one truth stands out. Compliance is no longer about control. It's about communication and collaboration. First up, let's visit the Pacific Northwest in Washington state.
Puget Sound is a large, complex estuarine system in northwestern Washington state where salt water from the Pacific Ocean mixes with fresh water from rivers and streams flowing down from the Cascade and Olympic Mountains. It's a delicate ecosystem, one that supports industry, marine transportation, several endangered and threatened species, and more than 4.5 million people who depend on it every day. While there are 58 wastewater treatment plants in the Puget Sound, nearly none of them use nutrient removal in their process. In 2019, the Washington Department of Ecology stated their intent to begin regulating nutrient discharges into Puget Sound. This was a big change for these treatment plants, one that many feared would have significant financial impacts. Driving this effort, Ecology convened a 14-member advisory committee to guide permit development. Members represented utilities, environmental groups, various agencies, and tribes. Their final recommendations were not unanimous and illustrate the challenges in reaching consensus between competing interests. Ecology issued the first permit in December of 2021, which was immediately appealed. In February of 2025, the state's Pollution Controls Hearings Board invalidated that permit. Ecology is now having to pivot in how they will regulate nutrient removal, creating uncertainty for all parties involved. Competing interests bring valuable perspectives. Differences in goals, influence, and experience can lead to better solutions when managed through open communication, respectful dialogue, and inclusive decision making. In establishing shared objectives, building trust, and ensuring all voices are heard, a work group can turn diverse interests into a collective strength with much better outcomes and improved chances for success.
Next, let's head down south to Texas to see how a regional, customized approach to regulatory collaboration is tackling some big problems in some drought stricken areas of the state.
Texas is vast and diverse. From the Rio Grande Valley to North Texas, water challenges vary dramatically. A one-size-fits-all approach simply doesn't work. Varying climate conditions, infrastructure capacity, and socioeconomic pressures demand region-specific, tailored solutions for an ever-changing landscape. First, let's look at some of our quickly growing rural water districts in action. In the drought-prone regions of the state, aging infrastructure and seasonal water scarcity make compliance difficult. Districts simply do not have time to wait for enforcement. Instead, they initiated dialogue with regulators, sharing real-world data on system limitations and seasonal availability. The result? A phased permit modification strategy, paired with technical assistance and funding support. This proactive approach has led to faster upgrades, fewer violations, and stronger partnerships. A tailored collaboration, not one size fits all, makes progress possible for those who need it most. Next up, the city of Taylor is relying on innovative water solutions for economic growth. When Samsung announced a $17 billion investment in Taylor, Texas, water reliability became a top priority. City leaders stepped up, working hand in hand with state agencies to address water scarcity and infrastructure needs in the historically water-scarce Central Texas region. Through strategic coordination, Taylor secured reliable water supplies, supporting both community growth and global innovation. Smart water planning didn't just meet the moment, it fueled smart growth for the future. Lastly, Looking at North Texas and towards the DFW Metroplex, the city of Sherman faced drought-related challenges head-on, turning drought into opportunity for innovation. With $500 million in infrastructure investments, including wastewater upgrades, Sherman partnered with regulators to support Texas Instruments expansion. This collaboration transformed risk into opportunity, ensuring water resilience and economic vitality. When cities lead with vision and collaboration, drought becomes a catalyst for innovation. From rural districts to booming cities, the state of Texas shows that collaboration, early, honest, and tailored to the needs of the region, leads to better outcomes. When leaders, regulators, and policymakers work together, water challenges become opportunities for progress. Because in Texas, water isn't just a resource, it's a grassroots effort treated as a shared responsibility.
Lastly, we visit our nation's capital in Washington, D.C., where credible and candid leadership needed to be utilized to approach complex financial and regulatory hurdles.
Washington, D.C. is a city defined by politics and lawmaking, but steps away from the capital, a different regulatory story is being written, not with speeches or votes, but with pipes, tunnels, and treatment plants. Here, D.C. Water's utility has used regulation not as a barrier, but as a driver of innovation. Two examples stand out. In 2005, DC Water entered into a consent decree to reduce combined sewer overflows into the district's waterways. The original plan relied almost entirely on grey infrastructure, deep tunnels to capture storm runoff. By 2011, however, DC Water was piloting green infrastructure across the city, working with neighborhoods to test rain gardens, permeable pavements, and bioretention. These early projects built trust with residents and provided valuable data on performance. As costs, climate pressures, and community needs became clearer, DC Water used this credibility, grounded in both science and public partnership, to work with regulators and propose a more adaptive grey and green portfolio. In 2016, the consent decree was modified to keep tunnels as the backbone while adding measurable green infrastructure complete with performance checkpoints and contingency triggers. The result was not a lower bar, but a smarter pathway, aligned to place, risk, and community co-benefits. Meeting tough policy goals isn't just about the engineering, it's about the money. Billion-dollar consent decrees can sink a utility without effective leadership and creative finance. DC Water pioneered new tools, green bonds to match long-term investments, an environmental impact bond to test green infrastructure, and a runoff-based charge to link costs directly to impervious surfaces. These approaches broadened the toolkit, tied dollars to performance, and kept the program moving forward. The unfortunate trade-off was higher bills for many residents, so leadership also meant being candid about costs, offering relief where possible, and constantly searching for efficiencies to keep affordability in view while meeting regulatory obligations. Then, in 2010, the EPA put the Chesapeake Bay on a landmark pollution diet, the largest and most complex TMDL ever issued, setting watershed-wide limits for nitrogen, phosphorus, and sediment. Developed through the Chesapeake Bay Program Partnership, it reflected collaboration among regulators, utilities, and advocates to define rigorous, yet achievable, science-based goals. That's regulation rooted in data. DC Water met the challenge by delivering enhanced nutrient removal at the Blue Plains treatment plant, the largest such treatment system in the world. By showing that the toughest nutrient limits could be achieved in practice, leaders turned regulation into a driver of innovation, building credibility that continues to influence how water policy is shaped today. At the end of the day, regulation isn't just about limits on paper. It's about the leaders who bring it to life. Credibility is built when we deliver results that people can see and trust. Data gives us the proof and direction to keep moving forward. Storytelling bridges the gap between technical progress and human impact, reminding communities why this work matters. And coalitions, the partnership across agencies, advocates, and residents make solutions resilient enough to last. When those elements come together, mandates stop being mandates. They become momentum. They become cleaner rivers, stronger neighborhoods, and a shared future that's not only sustainable, but inspiring.
Leadership isn't just about meeting today's standards, it's about anticipating tomorrow's. With data-driven insights and empowered teams, the water industry is proving that smart investments lead to sustainable outcomes. From coast to coast, the verdict is the same. The evolution of water regulation demands leadership that is strategic, collaborative, and adaptive. Leaders who interpret complex mandates, communicate regional realities, and invest in both data and people are best positioned to adapt. As the sector shifts towards decentralized, performance based models, success will hinge on cultivating trust, aligning stakeholders, and leveraging data to innovate while taking care of our people. Compliance, once a rigid obligation, is now a dynamic instrument for excellence, shaped by leaders who engage, influence, and inspire.
Sharing real world data on system limitations and seasonal variability.
Fine. I think it's looking good. Oops.